This presentation is on Ser and Estar, a topic you guys are already very familiar with, but you're also going to learn 3 new ways of using Ser and Estar that will enhance your speaking and writing abilities quite a lot. The first thing we're going to go over are the uses of Ser. Number 1, we use Ser to talk about a profession. Don't forget that your profession right now is a student, even though it's temporary, and you guys learned that for temporary things we use a star. Right now your profession is being a student, so you are going to use Ser when you're talking to somebody about what you do. Number 2, we use Ser to talk about mathematics. So if I say 2 plus 2 is 4, I would say dos y dos son cuatro. We use Ser. Number 3, we use Ser to express the day, the date, and the time. Hoy es martes, es el 3 de septiembre, son las 3:15 de la tarde. Don't forget that if you're talking about the 1 o'clock hour, you would just use es. Es la 1:15. Number 4, we use Ser to express origin. If I want to tell somebody that my family is from Italy, I'd say mi familia es de Italia, or if I'm from Italy, yo soy de Italia. When you guys go study abroad, if you do, a lot of people are going to ask you, ¿de dónde eres? And you'll say, yo soy de los Estados Unidos. Number 5, we use Ser to express nationality. Nosotros somos estadounidenses, which goes more or less with our place of origin. Number 6, we use Ser to express religious or political affiliation. Ellos son conservadores, mi familia es católica. We use Ser. Number 7, we use Ser to express the relationship between two things. So if I want to say that guy is my brother, I would say él es mi hermano. Oops, sorry about that. Number 8, we use Ser to express permanent qualities, okay, which I guess you can apply to basically all of the uses that I've already said. For example, él es un hombre sincero. He is a sincere person. Sincerity doesn't really change, and if it does, it takes a very long time. So we basically think it's permanent. If somebody is funny or smart, those are all types of permanent qualities. Finally, number 9, we use Ser to say where something takes place. Now, this might be a new use that you've never heard of before, but hopefully not. And if it is, that's okay. If I'm talking about a party and I want to say ¿Cuándo es la fiesta?, I would say that means when is the party. La fiesta es viernes, es en la casa de Juan. To wrap everything up for Ser, just remember that Ser basically talks about permanent qualities. It talks about our identity, okay? So our personal characteristics, our religious affiliation, those are all permanent things that don't change quickly. And so that's when we use Ser. Estar. Estar is used to express geographic and physical locations. So if somebody calls you up and wants to know where you're at, they'd say, ¿Dónde estás? Estoy en el laboratorio. I'm in the laboratory. Same thing, if you're not sure where a place is on a map, you would say, ¿Dónde está? Blank, blank, blank. Where is Chile? Where is the United States? Or, I don't know, a place that you wouldn't know where it is, you would still use a star. Estar is also used with adjectives to express a state or condition, so how something is right now. ¿Cómo está la sopa? How is the soup? La sopa está fría. The soup is cold. ¿Cómo estás tú? How are you? This was the very first form of estar that you ever used, that you ever learned. And these adjectives would be adjectives that can change in a very short amount of time. So for example, if I asked you, ¿Cómo está la sopa? And you said, La sopa está fría. Well, we'll just put it in the microwave and it's going to change in less than 5 minutes. So that's basically a temporary state or condition. Estar is also used with the progressive tense. ¿Qué estás comiendo? The progressive tense is when we use estar plus the verb that ends in ando or yendo. We're going to go over this in more detail, so if you're confused on that, don't fret, okay, because we're going to go over it in class, but hopefully you recognize it at least a little bit. In conclusion, with estar, don't forget how you feel and where you are. Always use the verb estar. That's the easiest rhyme to remember, and it really does help us when we're trying to think which we use, Ser or Estar. A lot of the information that you just learned was taken from this website, www.studyspanish.com. This website is awesome if you guys ever need a refresher on something, or we learned something in class and you need more help on it. This gives you a really nice detailed description of how everything works in Spanish, grammar-wise. Okay, for the part that might be new to you, I hope this chart helps you, okay? We use Ser and Estar we use the same adjective, but if we use Ser and Estar, it can change meaning. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Lulu es alegre. Lulu is a happy person. So in general, she's a happy person. If I say Lulu está alegre, that just means she is happy right now. Okay, she feels happy. And that is telling you that it's just a temporary feeling. Down here, ellos son aburridos. They are boring. So inherently, they're just a boring group of people. If I say ellos están aburridos, that means they are bored. So probably in English class, you'd be estás muy aburrido. That just means you are bored at that time. But that can change, remember, because it's temporary. Next one. When we use ser, it means something is just, that's how it always is. It's a characteristic, just like you learned before. But if I use estar, that can tell you that right now it's behaving in a different manner. So let's look at number one. El león es feroz. The lion is ferocious, right? Lions are generally ferocious. We don't go up to lions, we don't pet lions. But if I say ahora está manso, that means it is tame right now. So I'm using estar to tell you how it's behaving at that time. And look at the notes if you guys need a little bit extra explanation if I'm not being clear enough. El agua de Maine es fría. The water in Maine is cold. So normally the water is cold in Maine. That's just a general characteristic of the water. But if I say hoy el agua está caliente, that means it feels warm to me right now. That's an atypical characteristic of the water in Maine. Finally, we use ser to talk about objective realities, okay? So what everybody thinks of something, and then we use estar to talk about how we're feeling about that theme at that current time. Let's look at number one. La niña es bonita. The girl is pretty. So let's just say it's just a pretty girl. Everybody thinks she's pretty. Okay, but if I say la niña está muy bonita hoy, I'm saying that she's extra pretty today. Like maybe she's wearing a pretty dress, or she put on some makeup, or she curled her hair in a fancy way, so she clearly made herself look very pretty today. Los postres son muy ricos. Desserts are delicious. Desserts are always delicious, right? But if I say este postre está muy rico, that would mean that this dessert is even extra delicious than it normally is. Okay, so ser indicates that desserts in general are delicious. Estar expresses the speaker's opinion of this particular dessert. The last three slides were taken from the Spanish 4 book, okay, which you guys will either have this year or you'll be getting next year. And if you need extra help, we are going to go through this in class. Bye.